All right, you guys, Trisha Turner here. Want to get you guys some info because I freaking love data and I love statistics and being in the real estate market. I think it's imperative that you are. I have a little bit of a cold, so just bear with me here, but it's super important. So I was like, you know what? I have to get this out to you guys. Every day in the mornings, I read, I study. I run a morning community with Paul. We do the Rise and Thrive community at 8:30 every morning for real estate agents, and it's to teach them all things real estate training, listings, artificial intelligence, you name it. And I'm always throwing data at them, stats, all things that matter, because especially in the market that we have been in for years now, it's been freaking weird since COVID. It's important that we understand what is going on, like what got us here, where are we going, how do we fix it, right? I've been doing this for 23 years, so I got to figure this crap out. And I was a lender for 6 years actually too, in from 2004 to 2010. So during the mortgage crash, I was actually a lender in 08, 9, and 10. And that was definitely not fun. So when I study this stuff in the mornings, I study data, history, like what are we doing? What's happening? Why is this happening? This morning, I got a hold of a video and it was like everything, all the questions answered, stuff that I know and I teach, but it was nice to like hear it solidified, verified. Like this is what got us here. And this is what we can expect because as of today, it's April the 10th, 2026. We should be in like the height of the selling season in the real estate market. We're not because of this conflict in Iran and what's been going on with that in the last 30 days. It drove interest rates back up to where people think is an uncomfortable level, even though it's not. And it's got us back in this kind of like gridlock position where buyers don't want to buy, sellers don't want to sell. Number one, because of the interest rates, but number two, because of the conflict. And really that's in reverse, because number one, because of the conflict, because the confused mind just says no, right? They're like, there's something going on over there. Maybe we're all going to get blown up. And so I'm not going to do anything right now, right? I want to read you guys some, so I have to put my glasses on because I can't see without them. I want to read y'all some data. And if you're obsessed with data, like you should be, get a pen ready to write this stuff down. Because if you're in the real estate market, even if you're a consumer, a home seller, home buyer, you need to pay attention to this too. Because if your home is on the market and it's not selling, and you're like, gosh, I just put my home on the market, we're not getting any showings, we're not getting any people in our open house. Why? Why does my real estate agent suck? It isn't probably your real estate agent. It's likely the market. Your real estate agent may suck, but it also could be the market. This is stuff that you need to know. Buyers, like what is happening now? Should you be buying now? Should you not be buying now? Real estate agents, like if you're not paying attention to this kind of stuff, I don't know where you're going to be in the next couple of years. So get a pen ready. I'm going to go through some stats for you really fast. I'll try to go slow, but you hear that I talk a little bit faster. So check this out. This is fascinating stuff, y'all. So the median home price, this is on a national level. The median home price today in 2026, 418,000. Okay. The median home price in 2019, 272,000. Huge freaking difference. Okay. Went from 272 just in 2019 to 418. Okay. How did we get here? Well, it started in 2020, right? COVID comes along. Interest rates had already been historically low. So interest rates had hovered, 4% or under for a decade. We really saw interest rates decline after the mortgage crash in 8, 9, and 10. Because during that time, in 2005, 6, 7, and 8, mortgage rates were like 6.25 to 9, honestly, because I was a lender, I know. Then after the mortgage crash, they dropped rates to get our economy back going, people buying houses again, people being able to afford houses and all that stuff. Okay, right? Well, COVID comes along. Okay. So Fed Reserve slashed interest rates, lowest interest rates since the 1970s. Okay. So when they did that, everybody and their mother was like, oh, I can go buy a $500,000 and $600,000 house or $800,000 house because my interest rate is this. It's 2%. It's 2.1%. It's 2.4. They did that. So everyone bought like crazy, right? Well, that was during the COVID market. And remember, that's when the remote working thing became like super popular. So you no longer had to go into the office a lot of times because offices were closed. So you could work from your house, you could work from the lake, you could work from the beach, you could go wherever and you could do your job, right? Check this out. Remote work during COVID went from 6% to 18%. Okay. So people were no longer wanting, if they lived in an ugly house or whatever, but it was affordable, interest rates dropped to this crazy level. And they're like, hey, I can go get a lake house for this certain price because interest rates are lower. I can afford it now. And I can work from there because I'm remote now, right? Okay. Go with me. So people flooded cities, Austin, Phoenix, Boise, Idaho, and Nashville because they could work remotely. You heard those cities I just told you. Austin, Phoenix, Boise, and Nashville. They flooded these cities, okay? This is during the COVID time. So when COVID started until 2022, okay? Home prices jumped 37% on a national level, 37% between early 2020 and early 2022. So for a 37% jump, that's a normal, not even normal, but you would expect to see that kind of an increase over like a 10-year period, not a 2-year, okay? 2-year period, home prices jumped 37%. So that's why during COVID, a home that was worth 200,000 went to freaking 300,000. Just crazy numbers, okay? Then came the correction. So if you remember in June of 2022, that's when interest rates started going back up or going up because they had been low for a decade. So June of 2022, not only did interest rates start rising, but inflation was running at 9.1%. Okay. That's the highest. Y'all should be writing this down. That's the highest inflation that we'd seen in 40 years. Okay. Are you following that? So interest rates rose, inflation running at 9.1%, highest had been in 40 freaking years. During that time from 2022, June of 2022 is when they started hiking interest rates. They did 11 rate hikes in 16 months. Unheard of. Never, ever had they done that before, ever. Think about that. 11 rate hikes in 16 months. So almost every month, the freaking interest rates were going up, which is true. I remember it was horrible. And people were just like freaking out. Like nobody's buying, nobody's selling. Home sales stopped. It was insane. Mortgage rates went to 7.8%, which had been the highest since the year 2000. Do you think about that? So that was in 2023 when it hit 7.8%. So the highest that had been in 23 years. Crazy. So mathematically, millions of buyers were automatically eliminated from the market overnight when that happened. Overnight, okay? What it created was the mortgage rate lock-in effect, which is what I've been saying. Like people are frozen in their homes, right? Right now. In 2026, currently, 51% of all outstanding mortgages have interest rates below 4%. Okay. 51% of all outstanding mortgages have an interest rate below 4%. So think about that. 20% of them are under 3%. So think about that. Like if I have a 3% interest rate, I probably don't want to go buy a house at a 6.5% interest rate, do I? There's got to be a life reason for that, a life-changing reason, right? 51% of them have interest rates below 4%, 20% have interest rates below 3%. Research shows that for this reason alone, right there, 1.7 million transactions are suppressed. 1.7 million. Okay. So if we're selling in the last 3 years in a row, like 3.9 to 4.1 million homes on a national level, we should be selling 1.7 million more if these things weren't happening, if there wasn't the mortgage rate lock-in effect, right? So when you hear about people talking about the housing industry is crashing, it hasn't, it's just frozen. Here's what it shows. To comfortably purchase a median priced home today, the average American needs to earn approximately $106,000 per year. Now, if you're a high earner, that's nothing. You're like, who doesn't, right? I hear you. However, check this out. The actual median household income on a national level is $83,700 today, April 2026. Hear what I said. To comfortably purchase a median priced home today, the average American needs to earn approximately $106,000 per year household. the actual median household income is 83.7. Do the math. The average first-time buyer has gone to 40 years old now. It used to be 28. First-time home buyers are now only 21% of the statistics of home buyers. 21%. That's it. It's the lowest in 44 years. That is crazy. I hope your mind is blown right now, because mine is. I'm like so obsessed with this stuff. The first-time home buyer rate of home buyers is usually 40%. It's 21%. So it went from 40% to 21%. Lowest it's been in 44 years. Why? Because first-time home buyers can't qualify. They can't afford it. They can't qualify. They don't have the cash. For one reason or another, they don't have the income. They can't buy. 42% of the buyers right now are baby boomers, and they're purchasing in cash. Why is that? Well, the studies show that a lot of them bought a home a long, long time ago, and it was worth $200,000. And then because of the COVID market and the housing appreciation of 37%, it jumped up to 600,000. So then they went out and bought another house. They sold their house when the market was hot, sold their house and was able to buy something cash. Think about that. In 2008, subprime mortgages, which is what I used to deal in 2008, subprime mortgages made up nearly 20% of all mortgages. Today, it's only 3 to 4%. So people freak out and they're like, oh, we're in a foreclosure market. We're not, and we're not going there. Check this out. Foreclosures in 2024 totaled only 174,000. That's it. And if you think that sounds like a lot, it's not. Because listen to this number. In 2008, it was 2.3 million. So 2024, 174,000 foreclosures. 2008, 2.3 million. I hope you're writing every single freaking bit of this down. So after the 2008 crisis, home builders pulled back on their development. They used to produce 1.5 million homes. That went to 990,000 in 2010 and has continued at that pace. Okay. So they used to build 1.5 million, then it went to 990 and has continued at that pace. The United States right now is currently sitting at a housing unit shortage of 3.5 to 4.5 million units. Think about that. 3.5 to 4.5 million units short. That's a lot. In the 1970s, the builders would build 400,000 starter homes annually. That's what they would build. And in 2020, in the 1970s, the builders would build 400,000 starter homes, not 400,000 like the sales price. They would build 400 starter homes annually. So every year, the builders were building 400,000 starter homes for first-time home buyers, homes that were affordable. In 2020, that number went to 65,000. So when you look at what's being developed, if only 65,000 homes per year are being built that are affordable or are for the ideal American and that median household point, that's a problem. That's part of our problem, right? This shortage took 15 years to create and could take 5 to 10 years to recover. That's where we're at right now, okay? Research shows that 37%, I love research. I love data. Research shows, and I wrote all this. This is my notes. Like, this is real stuff. Can't see it, but it's real. Research shows that 37% of homeowners with a mortgage, they want rates below 5% before they will even consider selling their home. Well, guess what? We may never get to 5%. So are you going to stay in that home forever? Here's what I'll tell you on that. I'll leave on that note because I have to blow my nose. To get sellers out of their house, and I said it on our Rise and Thrive community this morning, think about it like this. If that many, 51% of people have mortgages under 4%, eventually, because homes sell for a death, divorce, a baby, a retirement, life change. 85% of home sales come from life change. We know that. So eventually, those people that are in those low interest rates, under 3%, under 4%, they're going to have to sell. Not all. We're never going to get to 100% where that mortgage no longer exists. We're not going to get there. But eventually, a lot of them are going to have to sell. Something's going to happen, right? It's a life thing. It's life. And then when they have to sell and buy, if they can't pay cash or do a reverse mortgage, they're going to be in whatever the current rate is, right? So eventually, we're going to get to the point where it's almost like an even playing field, as it should be for us to have a great real estate market, which then fuels the economy. If we could get interest rates doable, so if 5% is the number to make buyers buy and make sellers sell, then we should get there. We should consumers, because we see the median income hasn't risen to where it needs to match the freaking housing cost, right? It needs to. These things need to happen. Instead, a lot of these builders have they're building these tiny homes, or some of them not even tiny homes. Some of them are like average size homes, but cheap. They're pieces of crap. And they build them on these teeny tiny lots on top of each other where it looks like a housing project. Like, if that's all you can afford, I get it, but I think we can do better. So these stats blow my mind. But when you understand this, and you hopefully you wrote those down, then you understand, like, this is how we got to where we are. And this is how we may, in the real estate world last year, at the end of 2025, all the indicators were showing we were having a great spring season. It was coming, like all this buildup. We're going to get lower interest rates. Buyers are going to be buying, sellers are going to be selling, blah, 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 blah. Well, guess what? A conflict came up and boom, we're not. And interest rates jumped back up a little bit, not where they were, but they went up a little bit, which makes people freak out. If it's true, what all these statistics show, that we could be in this for a bit of a grind for the next 5 to 10 years, then it is what it is. You, as a seller, if you have to sell your home or want to sell your home, great, because it's a great time to be a buyer. The numbers don't lie. And if you're expecting housing appreciation to jump up, and I'm in the Houston market, forget that. In fact, even I didn't tell you all that, but the data shows that we can expect numbers at best to stay where they are, maybe for the next at least couple of years, maybe more. So who you pay attention to matters. Stop listening to fake news. Stop listening to people that aren't obsessed with data. I am. Reach out to me if you're concerned or have questions, whether you're a buyer, seller, or real estate agent. I would love to talk to anybody, because I'm clearly well educated on this stuff, and I love to educate others. I'm in homes every single day, running numbers for people, talking to them about selling their home, talking to them about not selling their home. Is it a good time? Does it make mathematical sense for them? These are the numbers today. What do I think their home's going to be worth tomorrow? What do I think it's going to be worth in 2027? Is it going to go down? All these things. So I have to study this stuff. If you're a real estate agent, you need to be studying this stuff too. Because if you're not a local expert, you should go get a job somewhere else, because the consumers need a local expert. That's the data, you guys. For more, or if you want to be part of our Rise and Thrive community, so you hear stuff like this Monday through Friday on a Zoom at 8:30 a.m., you can go check it out at joinriseandthrive.com. I'm Trisha Turner. You guys have an amazing day.